The Kansas City Chiefs have stormed into the 2025 season with one singular mission: to erase the bitter aftertaste of their Super Bowl 59 heartbreak and reclaim their rightful throne atop the AFC. With Patrick Mahomes orchestrating a high-octane offensive assault and Andy Reid steering the ship, expectations have soared to stratospheric levels. But even the most battle-hardened dynasties must evolve. Championship runs are forged not merely with first-round blue chips, but with a delicate blend of under-the-radar gems, strategic veterans, and developmental wildcards. Suspense is building, secrets are stirring, and in Kansas City, every roster move could be the domino that shifts the entire season's momentum. Let's dive into the latest revelations unfolding in the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. But first, if you enjoy our content, please hit that like button. It's a small gesture that makes a huge difference, and we're incredibly grateful for your continued support. Now, few storylines capture the essence of the NFL draft quite like discovering a hidden gem in the final rounds, and Brazard Smith's meteoric rise embodies that narrative to perfection. Despite Kansas City making 7 picks in the 2025 draft, it's the unheralded 7th rounder from a quiet corner of North Carolina who has completely rewritten the expectations for rookie contributors. A former college wideout turned running back, Smith has sparked imaginations inside the Chiefs facility and sent defenders scrambling ever since he first walked into the offseason weight room. His rare fusion of sub 4.4 speed, elite route running acumen, and natural ball security instincts instantly set him apart. During rookie minicamp, he left onlookers stunned, gliding through gaps with grace and executing crisp routes and passing drills. And the momentum kept snowballing. Through OTAs, Smith caught every target thrown his way and blitzed through conditioning circuits with the ease and polish of a seasoned veteran. Andy Reid, not known for casual praise, made his thoughts unmistakably clear: "I like what he brings to the table." He's got real speed, and his route running is impressive, especially for a back. These OTAs aren't easy camps, but he's handled everything we've thrown at him. Those aren't just canned compliments. They're indicators of genuine belief. A signal that behind Isaiah Pacheco, who enters 2025 on a 1-year prove-it deal, Smith could become a legitimate offensive chess piece. A Swiss Army knife weapon, Smith brings versatility in motion, from jet sweeps and downhill bursts to mismatches in the slot and electric punt returns. Imagine Mahomes eyeing him on 3rd and short or isolating him in empty formations to punish a mismatched linebacker. If his camp brilliance translates to live-action Sundays, Kansas City may have discovered the prototype for a late-round steal, one capable of bending defenses, demanding touches, and ultimately tilting the scales in their championship pursuit. In a franchise synonymous with innovation, Smith could evolve into Andy Reid's latest hidden ace, proof that NFL gold is often buried beneath the glamour of early-round hype. But as flashy as skill positions may be, true Super Bowl contenders are built in the trenches. And here lies the Chiefs' most pressing concern. Their offensive line stands at a critical crossroads. Last season, the Chiefs' hallmark creativity managed to mask a makeshift front, until the Super Bowl, when that illusion shattered under intense pressure. Downfield fireworks fizzled, protection crumbled, and the result was a humbling, one-sided defeat that exposed every structural weakness. Determined to rectify those failings, Kansas City launched an aggressive offseason overhaul. They secured veteran tackle Jaylen Moore with a 2-year, $30 million zero-cents deal, then spent their coveted first-round pick on Josh Simmons, a former top prospect whose draft stock slipped following a torn patellar tendon. Now, the blindside protection of Patrick Mahomes hinges on a high-stakes 3-man battle under the August sun. NFL insider Michael Silver put it bluntly: there may be as many as 3 legitimate position battles across the Chiefs' offensive line this summer, with only Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith considered locks. Indeed, 2 returning Super Bowl starters, left guard Mike Caliendo and right tackle Jawaan Taylor, could find themselves relegated to backup roles by Week 1, while center Creed Humphrey remains the linchpin of Reid's zone-bluking scheme, and Trey Smith, currently holding out of OTAs amidst contract negotiations, is the other immovable anchor. Every other position is in flux. Second-year lineman Kingsley Suamataia continues to inch closer with each rep. Meanwhile, the spotlight now burns on Moore and Simmons, 2 men entrenched in a competition that could shape the entire complexion of Kansas City's offense. The stakes couldn't be higher. The legacy of a dynasty, the protection of the league's best quarterback, and the pursuit of another Lombardi trophy all hang in the balance. And this is just the beginning. As the season opener on September 5th draws near in São Paulo, Brazil, a storm brews beneath the surface. And it's not just about X's and O's. The financial undercurrents swirling within Kansas City's offensive line are just as volatile as anything on the field. Jawaan Taylor's 2025 cap hit soars north of $27 million, 0 cents, placing a giant bullseye on his back as a potential cut or trade candidate by 2026. Meanwhile, Jaylen Moore's cap figure escalates beyond $18 million, 0 cents, that same year, virtually locking in his roster spot. Unless his performance nosedives. Should rookie Josh Simmons seize control of the left tackle role, Moore would likely pivot to the right, leaving Taylor scrambling to avoid a high-prize clipboard role. Kansas City could be fielding 2 premium prize backups before a single regular season snap, an unthinkable scenario just a year ago. This seismic overhaul, a volatile cocktail of inflated contracts, rookie upside, and high-stakes wagers, will determine whether Patrick Mahomes is truly protected or left exposed. The pressure is mounting. Every snap in training camp is a referendum. Every rep could redefine careers, and just when the Moore vs. Simmons duel seemed locked in a dead heat, ESPN's Adam Teicher delivered a thunderbolt. If Simmons passes final medical evaluations, he is expected to start at left tackle in Week 1. That bombshell reshapes the entire narrative, potentially benching Moore in favor of a 21-year-old rookie, a move bold even by Andy Reid standards. Patellar tendon injuries are infamous for derailing careers, often with slower recoveries than ACL tears. Yet insiders report Simmons has not only completed his rehab, but looks dominant in OTAs. Coaches are reportedly raving about his knee stability, leverage power, and explosive get-off. Such confidence in a post-surgery rookie is virtually unprecedented, and yet here we are with a newcomer potentially anchoring the most vital protection role in the NFL from day one. If Simmons locks down the blind side, Moore's storyline pivots toward the right, or possibly the bench. That shift thrusts 33-game veteran Jawaan Taylor back under the microscope. Plagued by penalties and a shaky Super Bowl showing, Taylor is now in a make-or-break audition to prove he's worth the 4-year, $80 million, 0 cents contract he signed. This isn't just a battle of bodies, it's a war of narratives. Rookie versus veteran, promise versus price tag, recovery versus reputation. Can Reid trust Simmons to protect Mahomes' blind side under fire? Can Moore transition gracefully to the right and Taylor finally quiet the critics? Every blitz pickup, every collapsing pocket, every coaching decision, it all matters. But while the trenches dominate local headlines, whispers of offensive reinforcements have begun to circulate, and they're far from conventional. One intriguing idea? A trade for Raiders tight end Michael Mayer. Analyst Anthony Palacios of Last Word on Sports suggests the Chiefs should act swiftly while Mayer's stock remains affordable, particularly with Travis Kelce nearing the twilight of his Hall of Fame career. Kelce, coming off one of his least productive seasons, punctuated by a blowout Super Bowl loss to the Eagles, is returning with vengeance in his heart. But realism demands preparation. Father Time is undefeated. Mayer hasn't broken out yet in Las Vegas, but Palacios believes he could blossom under Reid's system and Mahomes' leadership. Still, there's one towering obstacle: division loyalty. We appreciate your support more than you know. Now back to the action. Few NFL storylines captivate fans like a late-round gem defying the odds, and Brazard Smith is writing that script in bold ink. The Chiefs made 7 selections in the 2025 draft, but it's the 7th rounder from rural North Carolina who's turning heads and redefining expectations. Originally a college wideout, Smith's transition to running back has sparked serious excitement inside the building. From the second he stepped into the offseason weight room, his sub-4.4 speed, crisp route running, and natural ball security instincts began separating him from the pack. At rookie minicamp, he glided through gaps with ease. During OTAs, he ran surgical routes and caught everything thrown his way. His energy, relentless. His execution, veteran level. By the time conditioning drills wrapped, Smith looked less like a prospect and more like a polished pro. Andy Reid isn't known for dishing out unearned praise, so when he said, "I like what he does, he's got good speed and he's a good route runner for a running back. These OTAs are tough, but he's done a good job with everything we've asked." It meant something. These aren't generic coach speak compliments. They're signals. Signals that Smith may be carving out a serious role behind Isaiah Pacheco, who enters 2025 on a 1-year prove-it deal. Smith offers versatility galore, jet sweeps, inside bursts, slot mismatches, and even special teams electricity. Picture Mahomes on third and short glancing towards Smith in the flats or splitting him out wide to exploit mismatches. If this offseason surge carries into live action, Kansas City may have struck late-round gold. And in Andy Reid's laboratory of offensive innovation, Smith could very well become the next secret weapon, proof that game changers aren't always found in round one. Meanwhile, in the trenches, where games are truly won, Kansas City's offensive line is at a pivotal juncture. Last season, the Chiefs masked O-line inconsistencies with creative play calling, but those cracks shattered under the Super Bowl spotlight. Protection failed. The offense stalled. The loss was decisive and revealing. Determined to rebuild the wall, the Chiefs made bold offseason moves. They signed veteran tackle Jaylen Moore to a 2-year, $30 million zero-cents deal and invested their first-round pick in Josh Simmons, a once top-tier prospect whose stock slid after a patellar tendon tear. Now, the battle for the blind side has ignited a three-man war set to rage through training camp. According to NFL insider Michael Silver, there could be 3 legit position battles on Kansas City's offensive line this summer. Only center Creed Humphrey and Pro Bowl guard Trey Smith are locked into starting roles. Left guard Mike Caliendo and others, their spots are anything but secure. Right tackle Jawaan Taylor may find himself relegated to backup duty when the Chiefs open their 2025 campaign. Aside from Creed Humphrey, the rock of Andy Reid's zone blocking scheme, and Pro Bowl guard Trey Smith, who notably skipped OTAs amid ongoing contract negotiations, there are no guaranteed starters on the offensive line. Left guard Mike Caliendo and Taylor, despite their experience, are now hearing unsettling murmurs about their future as second-year tackle Kingsley Suamataia steadily climbs the depth chart with each rep. But the real spotlight is fixed on Jaylen Moore and Josh Simmons, now locked in a high-stakes duel that could reverberate well beyond the September 5th season opener in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Lurking beneath the surface is a complex financial chess match. Jawaan Taylor carries a massive $27 million zero-cents cap hit in 2025, making him a prime candidate for trade or release by 2026. Meanwhile, Moore's escalating contract over $18 million zero-cents next season virtually cements his roster spot, barring catastrophic underperformance. Should Simmons seize the left tackle position, Moore would pivot to the right, effectively pushing Taylor into a backup role. The end result? Kansas City could enter the season with 2 highly paid linemen standing on the sidelines. This seismic reshuffling, driven by hefty contracts, elite rookie talent, and win-now urgency, will determine whether Mahomes can operate without a constant blindside threat. The pressure is mounting. Every snap this summer counts. Every rep is under the microscope. And reputations? They're hanging by a thread. Just as the Moore versus Simmons clash appeared locked in stalemate, ESPN's Adam Teicher dropped a bombshell. If Josh Simmons passes his medical recheck, he's expected to start at left tackle in Week 1. This revelation sent shockwaves through the fan base. Handing a rookie, fresh off a torn patellar tendon, the keys to Mahomes' blindside is a bold gamble. Patellar injuries are notoriously difficult for big linemen to recover from. Yet Teicher's sources suggest Simmons not only looks fully healed, but has impressed coaches with both power and knee stability during OTAs. A 21-year-old post-injury rookie potentially anchoring the most important position on the line? That's unheard of, and yet, here we are. If Simmons does secure the job, Moore's journey pivots either sliding to right tackle or warming the bench. Chiefs-Raiders trades are almost mythical. Both franchises guard their assets like fortresses. And with tight ends like Noah Gray, Jared Wiley, and rookie Jake Briningstool already on the roster, Kansas City isn't desperate. Still, Mayer's youth and pedigree are tempting, but would Veach and Reid sacrifice valuable draft capital to a sworn AFC West rival? Even spicier, a blockbuster proposition gaining traction, a bold trade for Falcons phenom Kyle Pitts. Championed by KC King Dom.com, the vision is tantalizing. Part short-term rental, part long-term masterstroke. Atlanta's unorthodox roster management has left the door ajar, and Nick Halden claims a day 2 draft pick might be enough to acquire the former Florida standout. Under Andy Reid's creative genius, with Travis Kelce mentoring him, Pitts' freakish athleticism and 4.4 speed could unlock a terrifying new dimension. Envision pre-snap jumbo looks transforming into spread chaos, Pitts stretching seams while defenses double Kelce, Smith sweeping underneath, Mahomes pointing to the heavens after yet another "how did he do that" play. Even in limited usage, Pitts could draw attention, display safeties, and open run lanes. But the price? Steep. Surrendering top 60 draft capital for a potential one-year rental, that's a high-risk, high-reward gambit. But instead of fireworks, we got silence. Just 4 combined games of action from Brown and Rice. Imagine removing Jamar Chase and T. Higgins from the Bengals for a full season, or CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks from the Cowboys. That's what Kansas City endured, and still made a Super Bowl run. But here's where it gets spine-tingling. While the NFL was prematurely writing the Chiefs' obituary, something extraordinary was happening behind the curtain. These guys didn't sulk. They grinded. They trained. They prepared to return with vengeance. Rashee Rice? On a mission. Reports out of camp say he looks faster, sharper, and more dialed in than ever before. That hunger you only get from being counted out? He's got it. Hollywood Brown? Torch mode. He's been lighting up minicamp, burning DBs, turning slants into 6 points, and looking every bit like the deep threat assassin the Chiefs envisioned. He's healthy, focused, and ready to remind the league who he is. And then there's the quiet storm, Xavier Worthy. A breakout late in his rookie campaign, this kid's rise has been electric. With elite raw talent, relentless work ethic, and growing chemistry with Mahomes, he's quickly becoming the X factor no one saw coming. Now combine all 3. Rice, precise route runner with glue hands Brown, explosive, vertical threat who forces safeties to sweat, Worthy. Ascending star with limitless upside. You've got a WR trio that can attack from every angle. A 3-headed monster built to annihilate any defense. And it's not just hype. Former Chiefs wideout Garrick Dieter recently declared on social media, "Hard to name a better WR trio right now than what the Chiefs have. The dynasty isn't dying, it's evolving. So to every defensive coordinator in the NFL, you better study the tape, say a prayer, and brace yourself. Because the Kansas City Chiefs are about to unleash an offensive onslaught that'll make 2018 look like a warm-up." When a former player, someone who's lived inside the system, breathed the culture, and earned his stripes, makes a statement like that, you better believe it's coming from a place of authentic insight. But here's what elevates this moment into something truly electrifying. We're not just talking about a top-tier trio of receivers. No. This depth chart runs dangerously deep. Enter Juju Smith-Schuster, a battle-tested veteran with championship DNA and an undeniable clutch gene. Add to that Jalen Royals, a stealth weapon quietly sharpening his game behind the scenes, and of course, you cannot forget Travis Kelce, the ageless maestro of tight end excellence, arguably the greatest to ever play the position. What Kansas City has built is more than a receiving corps. It's an arsenal of offensive versatility, an embarrassment of riches most teams can only fantasize about. Most franchises would kill to have one of these playmakers as their WR1. The Chiefs have 5, maybe 6, who could easily be the focal point on any other roster. That's not luck. That's elite roster construction, the kind that builds dynasties. Now let's talk about Mahomes. This is where the real fireworks begin. You're talking about a generational quarterback, a 2-time Super Bowl champion and multiple-time MVP who has already carved his name into the stone of greatness. But imagine what happens when you surround that level of talent with this kind of weaponry. Let's be honest, Mahomes spent the majority of last season pulling off miracles with receivers who, through no fault of their own, were being forced into roles they weren't built for due to injuries across the board. And yet, he still kept this team in the fight. He still willed the offense forward. He still found a way to win. But now we're entering a completely different reality, one where Mahomes isn't scrambling to compensate, but instead commanding a fully loaded offensive juggernaut. He's got precision route runners, elite vertical threats, and young explosive talent at every tier of the field. OC Matt Nagy has already declared that the Chiefs are bringing back the deep ball in 2025, and now we understand why. Brown stretches the field with breakaway speed. Rice slices up zones with clinical precision. Worthy breaks ankles after the catch and turns routine plays into highlight reels. This trio gives Kansas City the power to attack every inch of the field. Short, intermediate, deep, sideline, seam, name the area, they own it. And what's even more terrifying? It's the synergy. These aren't just talented players, they're complementary assassins. Brown draws the safeties back, Rice eats up the underneath routes. You try to bracket Kelsey, that leaves Worthy isolated with space. Game over. You play press and try to bring pressure, Mahomes drops it over the top like a dagger. It's a chessboard of chaos, and the Chiefs are holding every major piece. The psychological edge. Let's not overlook the mental warfare. When opposing teams study the Chiefs' depth chart, they won't just see two threats. They'll see a legion. Defensive backs are going to walk into Arrowhead with wide eyes and heavy nerves, knowing they're outgunned before the ball is even snapped. And here's the hidden blessing. Last season's injuries, as devastating as they were, they've forged a fire in these players that can't be manufactured. Rashee Rice is coming back with a vengeance, determined to pick up right where his breakout left off. See, when you're the Kansas City Chiefs and you've scaled the NFL summit multiple times, every decision is scrutinized under a microscope, like an insect pinned in a lab. Every draft pick, every free agent signing, every trade, it all matters because the margin for error narrows to razor-thin levels when you're trying to sustain greatness. And that's precisely where we find ourselves today, discussing a move that could define the next decade of Chiefs football. The 2025 NFL Draft came and went, and while most fans were laser-focused on the flashy top picks, something intriguing was brewing down at pick number 32. Now, I know what you're thinking, pick 32? That's just the last pick of the first round, what's the big deal? Let me tell you, that mindset is exactly why so many people miss the forest for the trees when it comes to constructing championship rosters. True dynasties aren't built on just the top 5 picks that everybody obsesses over on social media. They're forged in the fire of identifying hidden gems where others see risk, spotting raw talent where others see question marks, and having the guts to make bold decisions when the stakes are sky high. If Pitts ascends, it's a masterstroke. If he disappoints, Kansas City may regret the cost. So as we inch closer to kickoff, we want to hear from you. Is Brazard Smith truly the late-round gem Kansas City needs? Who should protect Mahomes' blind side, Simmons or Moore? And would you roll the dice on a blockbuster trade for Kyle Pitts? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and join our growing Chiefs community. We bring you daily, in-depth Kansas City updates, and this season is shaping up to be nothing short of legendary. Thank you, guys. See you next video.